It's good to try new stuff and don't let technology that could benefit you pass you by because you're stubborn. There we go. Back to original. Now it can plug in and work how it should. Now I just need to get these wires and that switch off the dash, because let's just unrig this thing while we're here. Got you zoomed into over the tank. This is the back of the dash where my hand is, and I'm on the other side working that nut from the front loose, the little bezel nut. There we go. Pull that out. There's our prize. One unrigged lawn tractor. Got you on the back end here. Now it's got a bunch of dents and little imperfections I'd like to try to correct. First one, starting with this down here. Both of these are down, then it goes up, then it goes down again. So let's just get it all flattened out. I'm happy with that. Now this looks like it's up too far. That looks like it's in. You can kind of see because the way the sun's hitting it probably shows up in the camera pretty good, I suppose. Kind of helps. Good enough for me, that part. Now let's see about the right side. Much better, and better yet than that, good enough for me. All right, this is that front deck hanger piece. I'll just get those nuts backed off, put that back together. They just took it apart for shipping, I think. And I'll need some pins and stuff when I go to mount that. It didn't come with all that, but good use parts. Oh, delivery day, aren't they wonderful? Okay, looks like we got the same kind of plug. Diameter looks good. I'd say we win. And I'll have to sneak my wire down through here. Let's see how the factory ran that. Down through around the back of this oil thing. Okay, hold on. Got too many screws in my hand. Yep. Okay. Well, while I got it right here in my hand, let's go ahead and plug it in. Which way? Not that way. There we go. Just jammed it the first time. Okay. Looking good. Got our wires running through the little channel where they should. Fit perfect. Now let's get that little plate tied back down. Got a piece of magnet still sticking to one of the bolts. Piece of that broken magnet. Okay, looking good, looking good. Now, for our friend the flywheel. Oops, take the nut off. Take the washer off. Key's still in there. It's on that side. Yes, key's still there. Didn't get pushed out the bottom. Gotta watch for that. Now I'll need that giant impact socket. Give this thing a few honks. That one you can go pretty tight on because there is a spec, of course, but you're not going to break that off. And you want that to seat properly down onto the taper. You don't want that one coming loose. That would become a dangerous missile. Okay, let's listen for anything that sounds off. Now here's what I'm seeing is that these, oh, okay. I'm going to show you what I'm seeing here. I looked down and I saw excessive, the gap at the tip of my fingernail. I saw excessive gap. It only closes when the flywheel magnet gets by it. To me, those still look a little bit too wide, so I am going to adjust both of them. These ones, of course, they look really wide right now, but as you get the magnet in front of it, it closes, but it's still, I think, a little far apart, a little far away. All right, I did spray some carb cleaner to get some of that oil out of here. Sprayed some in there, all the tops, just because that oil will collect dirt from now till doomsday. Get all these bolts to line up. Yes. And I think I have that tool already lined up. What did I do with the 1/2 inch or 3/8 or 5/8 or 7/8 or 7/16? Oh, up on the seat. Why didn't you tell me? Or 10mm. Something's not dropping just right. Nope. There it is. Now I lost my socket. Having a long day. And the back one's sprung open. I'll get all those tightened up, bring you back. It goes down in that little groove there. I don't know if I ever saw that little groove there. I've seen some of these with the little hook. That's what I was looking for. Interesting. This one, just these hold it down. It doesn't really clip around the edge like some of them I've seen. We have a complete engine that should run, charge the battery, and do all the things an engine does. Before I go to crank it, I just wanted to mention, so it came with this key. The standard little, I call it the 2-blade or spade lug, whatever. The right key is that one. That's why that thing fought me so hard, because the guy had the wrong key in it. Now the thing's all chewed up right there. Somebody's been using it. Yeah. Oh, it works perfectly with the right key. All right, let's see what we have. We have nothing, because I'm not sitting on the seat. And the PTO has to be set back. That is the nice engine. Well, I guess I just forgot to press record for that whole session. Put a battery in. I gave a hand-me-down AGM battery, and I'm going to put the new one in mine because no one will pay you extra for a new battery versus a good battery. So that's been proven for everything I've ever sold. I put stainless hardware on there. Be kind to the next guy, because you know, maybe the AGMs aren't so bad, but the regular ones, you know, that's going to get corroded and turn bad. And the way to get it off easy again, use stainless steel. So got that. Link in the description of the AGM batteries. They do last longer. I've had multiple machines over the years. They do last longer than the junk batteries these people are putting out now, with the some of them as low as 3-month warranty, which is just inexcusable. You will not get a couple of years out of a new tractor battery, standard one, anymore, at least that I've found. So I also noticed the seat, maybe this one's a little loose. I'm going to see if I can tighten that up, and we'll get this thing. Every time I see something, I got to fix it. Still got a little wobble there, but it's supposed to, because those are the ones that slide and these are the locks. So that's normal. I was overkilling that. All right, I got my bungee still on the PTO. Let's give it some choke. Yes. Except I hit something. Works good. Now we got something we can work with. We got a working engine. The transmission works. The variable speed works. We still got to work on the deck. Got you zoomed in there on the amp gauge. Before I'm able to claim victory that our new flywheel and charging system is working, let's test it. Damn right it's working. Check it out, man. I got the thing all washed up, and man, it looks way better. I got all the grease off as much as I could. I didn't pressure wash it. I just used hose and scrub brush, but just cleaned all that nasty stuff off there. Got all the stuff off the valve covers from the outside. The rest of the engine cleaned up. All down there by the muffler. That ain't a bad looking unit coming together here. Just got to get deck hangers, blade, go through everything down there, make sure all the hookups are there, and we'll be making good progress. Today is welding day. Right now is welding time. I will get a socket for that. We'll get the wheel out of the way. I'll show you what we're going to do here. Just wanted to get a little clearance there and basically get burnable materials out of the way. We're going to put that through there. Something like that. Without the gravity. Let me clamp it. I'll bring you back. All right, I'm not going to weld on my camera because it freaks out my camera and my microphone. I'm just going to weld that there, weld a little bit around here, tie that all in, and then we'll move to the other side. All right, side one's looking pretty good. I might put a little more there. I got a lot of heat into it right now, but I'll go for side two, bring you back. Oh yeah. And just in case anybody out there says blades never go bad, well, how come the edge there doesn't line up with the other edge? And how come that one is bent up? Fully justified. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Same machine. These are the parts I got online. They didn't come with the other nuts, so I put in some good stainless, the ones with the nylock. I put their old nylocks, you're not really supposed to reuse them, but I put their ones on the inside. If they come loose, they'll just back off. The pressure is in the pulling direction, and of course you wouldn't want to lose that, have that thing come loose. So I put the good ones, the newest ones, on that side. So that part hangs on the tractor with a pin, which we have to make. And the other part, the deck, just hangs right on that. So when I say we have to make them, we don't have to make them. I just don't want to buy them. What it is, it's just a universal clevis pin, just a clevis pin that you put a little cotter pin through. One hole, I don't know, what is that, 1 inch long, whatever. What I'm going to build it out of is universal clevis pins. I got my washers there. I'm going to make 2, of course. I have 1 out of the package already. And then these clevis pins just have, as shown on the photos, holes all along them, which is fine, but I cannot use the full length of it right now. I will have to cut it down, and I will show you why. The pin has to go in through this hole and cannot interfere with that. If I put that long pin, the pin's going to be way over here, sticking in the same plane of the bolt. So we have to make them short. You could buy the OEM and the clip and everything. We're just going to make them out of universal parts because it's cheap and readily available today. Just like factory. Got you under here with me. First time to, I got it tipped up on the side. Sun's in my lens there. There we go. So I'm going to start looking at pulleys and everything. Belt looks good. The rear belt, this has 2. That looked good. I already kind of looked them over a little bit. Every idler seems to be in order, except for this one, which we will tackle. And that one is actually a little bit off kilter. This one's too high. So yeah, as I suspected, somebody had been messing with that one. Probably lost one of the spacers or something, or didn't know there was one, or put the wrong pulley in general. So we'll get that. I'm going to cut these zip ties. And I got a spring hanging here for no reason. And here's what I think is something wrong. 2 springs going to the same point, and this, which looks like it should have a spring, has no spring. So I'm guessing one of those springs goes over here. But I got to look up on some diagrams to see where this stuff's really supposed to go. Okay, got those loose. Now a little research. So I got this piece freed up now, and you can clearly see, let me get you like right in line with the pulleys. And you can see that pulley is up higher than the center of this pulley. And also, they never even tightened down this bolt properly, probably because they're pinching the bearings here when they tighten that nut. We can almost see the line where that used to be. It's supposed to be down about a good 1/4 inch. So that's a fact. That spring there I'm looking at, and I think it probably goes into the hole on this so that it pulls tension. So that one makes sense. The only thing that still doesn't make sense are these two going into one hole. That seems strange to me. Not unheard of, but it seems odd to me. Oh, sorry. That was supposed to go probably one of them in this hole. I got that one and this other piece that moves confused. So most likely that's how it goes. Okay, so like I said, we got this pulley. This pulley's higher. This pulley's the height it should be, I believe. So I have to shim down this pulley, and it's not rolling right the way they have it set up here. So let's see what that one's going to take. That's my next thing. While I'm waiting for parts, you'll get tired of waiting for parts. I hate to pay the extra fees for shipping fast. Okay, it did come down a little bit. We got a little play going here, so maybe we're making progress with what we're doing. that bolt is all the way from up there through a plate, through another plate, through a spacer. Incredibly long. Wow. It unthreaded like a couple threads. Only. I don't think I can get in there with a needle nose and grab it yet. I gotta grab the shaft because all I can grab here is this spacer. Yeah, I can't grab it yet. I'm just trying to tweak it sideways a little bit to make some tension on the head. I think I just made some killer progress right there. Yes. Woo-hoo. Nice. All right. Washer falling out. Oh, and I'll have to figure out how that gets clocked later on too. Oh, it's got a hole. Oh, thankfully. Oh, wow, there's things falling. Okay. That goes in the upward direction. That's for this thing. Okay, temporarily. Okay. This gets clocked because that goes in that hole. Smart design. Okay, I like that part. Trying to put the nut back on. Okay, I just don't want this all to fall off because I have not a good... Okay, so this pulley, good. We just need to shim. I'm just going to use washers because they're adjustable, but probably what was on there was a standoff or another piece of this stuff cut to length, but I don't know what the right length is, so I need to look when it lines up to get that belt riding in the middle of that pulley. Let's do that. Okay, it doesn't want to focus perfect, but now we can see that those pulleys are in alignment. This one's pretty good, and better yet, it doesn't flip-flop up and down. It's got a little play, which is normal, but we got the proper amount of washers and spacers on everything. I put their nylock nut on there. Again, it's not really proper, but with 2 washers. I think before they were crushing in to the bearings and slowing them down. So if you have 2, it doesn't really crush. It doesn't really cone shape up in there, if that makes any sense. And now that pulley rolls properly like it should. It's not jamming and creating a bunch of heat from the friction of that thing, the washer rubbing against the bearing. When the washers are standing still, this needs to be able to move. So I think we're good. Waits for some springs and such, and let's see if we have everything lined up when we get the springs. I think, like I say, I think this one right now, I think that one goes to this spring. That's what makes sense. There's another spring that goes from right here, where my thumb is, to that pin. And there was a third spring shown on the plan, and I'm not sure if that was part of the deck or what. It looked like it was toward the rear of the deck. I don't know what that is. Actually, let's go to the deck. Got it right over here. I can't imagine what that would have been for. This has its own spring for tension. So, yeah, it was a little cryptic on the drawing. So I just bought it just in case I need it, in case it does something. Okay, I got prepped for when we get the parts. We have double washers and a clip. That one there, double washers and a clip ready to go. That is how I think it goes. And then I'm waiting for, there's a cable that goes to the deck and a spring that returns it that goes to the other one. all that's been ordered. Bring you back when I get them. All right, got you back here. Let's work on headlights. This one has no wires for any of the headlights, and this loom looks a little smashed and blue wire damaged, green wire smushed. I think we'll cut it there. I don't have the original plug that attached to this anyway, as much as I like to use original plugs and stuff. We'll cut it back here. That'll get us about where this old, it had one of those push-in electrical connectors. That'll give me something to zip tie to that to keep it away from the muffler heat shield. And then we'll run it up from there once we get it built. So the reason this has a plug down here, if it's not obvious, is because these hoods come right off. They just lift off. Turn it to the right angle there. And they just literally pull up and off to make serviceability a thing, which is great. So we won't negate that by the work we're going to do. We're going to put another plug. And what I've got here is just a 2-wire. This one happens to be like the weatherproof kind for automotive, but you can get these real cheap pre-terminated, pre-stripped ends there. And that way we'll still have a plug to be able to remove the hood. I'll leave a link for Amazon for these type of plugs. I guess I might as well just cut this. It's all ruined anyway. Okay, it doesn't cut very well. Plan B for the cutting. And the more I pull it, the more it comes off the other side. There we go. Just get it back to where it's not damaged, and then we can reuse as much, use the protection as much as possible. And if you're wondering which end to put on the tractor, it really doesn't matter in this case, but usually you're putting the female end and you're making the end of the line or the object plug into that. So that's what I'm going to do. Like this is to provide the power, and the other one let's see, I'll assume red is blue. Let's go with red and blue together. This is to provide the power, and the other one's to take the power. So that's the way I'm going to go. This is such a non-critical application. These crimp connectors are just fine. I like to use the solder seal ones now, but for what we're doing here, it's not. We're not going to the moon with a couple of headlights. Whoops. And I guess if I was doing this even better, I would have used the ones with the goo inside and the solder seal and put heat shrink afterwards and this and that, but we're just powering a couple of headlights. How much do they even get used, even if even if you did use them. I'll put some tape over it. How about that? Maybe I could take this clip off and incorporate that into my taping. Will it come off? Not really. Okay. Let's give up before we break it off. What I was hoping to do is wrap that around with the tape. All right, we'll get some zip ties, zip that up when we're done getting everything where we want it. Or better yet, no, I'll just tape it. If I can get the tape to cooperate, it's sticking to itself. Nope. Give up. I give up. Zip ties are going to be the key. All right, and then I want to run this up in a way that it doesn't get a hold of the pivot of the hinge, and that's fine. And I'll be able to zip tie that around there, and then I'll zip tie the other part only to the part that comes off with the hood. And we'll build ourselves a little mini harness for going up to those lights. I might as well just start with this already plugged in so we don't make something too short guessing. Actually, I am going to just not zip tie that. I'm going to put that half of it with tape for now. Think later I'll put a zip tie because that's going to be hot. There's the muffler. I mean, the air is blowing out, but still, that's hot. That way it'll just keep me the length I want to be. We don't want to pinch the wires in there at all. We want to maybe bring them over there, bring them away from the pivot point. And so bring them back maybe on the inside. Yeah, probably on the inside. That way they won't, when I pull the hood back, they won't come backwards. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Got my little roll of wire there. Got a piece already put, a connector already put there. Now, admittedly, my black wire roll got buried, and I don't feel like going and unburying it right now. So both of these are going to be red. Truth is, it doesn't matter which one I attach because it's DC, and all we're running is a lamp. So it really doesn't matter positive, negative on DC lamp. So I'll do that twice, bring you back. Got the second wire run there. And we will get some female spade terminals. Let's determine the length here. That's actually pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is wire from one to the other. Where's my big other box? If you use like the yellow, they will hold enough wire. They're big enough to hold enough wire, and they're still just the same size terminal on the other end. So we'll put two of them together. Let that cool down before I plug that in. Other side, that's about the right length. I just guessed. Same thing. Bring it back when I get them. All right, we got those things cooled down a little bit now. So, just in the name of doing the proper polarity, I will and that one needs to be flattened a little bit. Some of these terminals are coming so poorly manufactured. It's all about the brand you get, I guess. There we go. All right, I'll terminate them on the other end. Bring it back. We'll neaten them up a little bit. All right, I got that all set there. And then what I'm going to use are these, which I'll put a link to. And what it is, it's a four-way connector. You can put zip ties, little zip ties through there. And it's self-adhesive. So this kind of helps keep the wires out of trouble. They probably won't last forever on a lawn tractor. But what you do is you put it there and then you zip tie to it. Keeps things out of harm's way. And let's just make sure that that doesn't fold in. I'm folding the hood down. That's fine. Nothing's moving there. Should stay out of the way. Good. See what we got. Wildwood. Oh, yeah. I've done a little off-camera work there, as promised. Zip ties. Zip tie. And where that original factory plug holder was, two zip ties. So we got her all buttoned up wire-wise. Today's task is going to be hopefully, finally, getting this deck put back on this thing for the first time since before I bought it. It was not even on when I bought it. 3-blade deck, all new blades, painted that up, painted this, the Got our self-constructed pins. We got a spring. We got another spring. And we have the missing cable, a belt. Hopefully, we have all the pieces to put this thing back on for the first time ever since I bought it. All right, I want to get down here and work on this pulley system. Let's get that down out of the way. Now, the one thing I noticed, oh, by the way, what I'm going to be working on first. The one thing I noticed is, and this metal's real jagged, so I'm going to treat this before I work on this. But look at this. I got that all the way up. I'm going to lift this with my foot. It can't even go that far. So at one point, the deck hanger must have been broken off or disconnected or something for that pulley to be able to contact this. That's crazy. So I'm going to let it all the way down. We're going to get this jagged metal out of the way because it's been spun by the top of this apparently. And then I'm going to work on what I want to work on. All right, much better. Now I'm just worried about ripping my hand because that was pretty gnarly. If you're in person, it probably was more gnarly looking than not. So much better. Okay, now I got to put on a belt today. I got this. What I realized was missing later is this guard, which is not that important. But what is more important is these little pins that are belt guides that are built into this. They hang from this. If I saw it right, a couple of holes there where they bolt in from this side, and then that's to prevent the belts from coming off. So if I didn't have this, I hate to spend money on silly things like this, but if I didn't have it, I would be probably jumping belts. And it, makes it a little safer too if you're jumping on and off. If you're the kind that overrides safeties and things and leaves it running while you get off, then maybe that would be a good thing to have. Probably a good thing to have even if you didn't. So let's do this. I don't know what I looked up the first time I ordered the belt for this thing. Everything's been delayed, and that one was my self-inflicted. This belt is supposedly 5/8 by 68 1/4, compatible with 954-04064. This goes from the deck to the engine. Deck, obviously idle alert pulley engine. So I'm just slipping that around. This one, and then I got to figure out how it goes around the idler. Got you down here with me, the level of a worm. Okay, so make sure it goes toward the pulley side of that guard, towards the pulley side of the guard that my finger's on. Oh boy, this is difficult to film. Back side of this one, again, there's a guard to hold the blade on. I'm calling these little things guards, that belt guides, I really should call them. Belt guide is on the far side of me. Belt comes over on the inside, right on the other side of this belt guide, and then comes over here. And then what's going to happen is when I put that cover on, these belt guides are going to be pinned. It's going to be holding it from jumping off. Usually it'll never jump off, but when you turn it off and this is still spinning and the belt stops spinning, that's when they get thrown off. So that's why they put those on there. So if I didn't have them, it might be unreliable. This one, I don't have the part number on me. It is marked LT, left. So they are not universal. They do not fit either side. I just happened to buy a new one because the shipping was on the used ones was the shipping plus the part was, I bought the new one for the same price, which, why wouldn't I want a new one? Because then it's nice and sturdy. It's not all rotted or something. So it is what it is. I paid, you know, less new than used sometimes. Shipping is getting really high. Okay, let me get this. Looks like somebody put a strap here at one time or something. Let's get that out of there. And then, of course, I'm going to have to find some hardware that'll fit into the deck. Looks like maybe this one was re-drilled a couple times there. Somebody's been playing. I assume this is a self-tapping sheet metal screw. Sure was. So I'll have to figure out which out of the two my pin goes in on that side. This one's obvious. Let me see where this wants to sit. Yeah, the original threaded holes are fine. They're lined up just fine with what I have here. Yep, and that one too. I think I got to tweak this up a little bit. That's on an angle. I guess when I sock it down, it'll adjust itself, shall we say. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3 screws there. These, I got the pins, the original equipment, 911-0993. It's funny, they gave me 2 different iterations. With the old MTD, I ordered extras. They ordered, this is the old MTD logo, and this is the newer logo, and I think that's kind of fun. All right, I've got some serrated flange nuts. Stainless steel, of course. If you know me very well, you know that's my favorite. All right. And I'm going to put it on the inside because it has 2, and it looks like it could easily clear that. I haven't even got you in the shot at all, did I? Sorry about that. Well, you can see the second one then, because I was only going to do one. So I looked at the camera. That's all. They just stick down, and they'll guide that belt. And yes, I do have clearance back there. I can feel it. This one actually goes on the inside of the belt. That's weird. I don't know if you're supposed to use both or one, but anyway, as I said, the sun is in the camera, so I'm really having a hard time watching the viewfinder. This one is going to have to bend down a little bit, so I guess I'll just pre-bend that a little bit just so it sits right. It's a little happier like that. Okay, now I got to try to find some hardware for here. And they're probably not regular bolts. They're probably those ones with a little taper on them. So let me look for something like that. All right, I've got some M6-1 by 12 millimeter bolts. I'm sure this deck is American US size, but they're pretty close. So we're going with them because that's what I've got. Stainless steel, flange bolts, non-serrated head on these ones. I just happened to buy a new pack recently for the engine on another project. And what's better than a brand new bolt that you can actually find that you have in stock? Pretty good. Trying to see which are the original threaded bolts out of the 3 holes that are there. Optional. Get you and me around here. And that pin is hitting something. And that something is the pulley. That one has to be in the back position. Now that we got it all situated, we must redo that. That one's just skimming it, or just comes down on top of it. So that's why they got two holes, because it's obviously a multi-fit piece. No problem. Oh, got those marks. Oh, we removed the paint. We took the trade-in value right off that thing. You see that? Man. I assume that's powder coating. I might get some paint and redo this anyway, so we'll just hit both sections at the same time. Now we're clearing. Go back to the original socket. Okay. Which one here? That one. Well, that one's good and stripped now. Maybe I shouldn't have put my metric in there. Boy, they got this thing all... Manufacturing tolerances aren't the best on their folding job to make that part. Ah. Nice. Now for a few maintenance items. Luckily, I just accidentally ran out of gas, which is the perfect opportunity to get rid of this nasty old gas filter, fuel filter, and I want to put in a shutoff and a fuel filter, both. No better time than now when it's empty. It's rare you don't get soaked in gas every day if you work on small engines. This is kind of pleasant. I'm not going to lie. And when you put these, put those up out of the way. Maybe not in the back, but up out of the way. So when you turn it with your hand, you don't gnarl your finger as you roll it. That's good hose yet. I'm going to leave it because it's got that built-in 90. No need to change it if it's still good. It's kind of nice to have a built-in 90 where one's required because it keeps it away from the blocking access to the valve cover if you need it. Getting those set up. Big fat spot always to the engine. You want this stuff to go on the outside of the filter here. So you can see it. Hey, that's actually not terrible on the length. I'm going to just leave it like that. Pretty good. Open it so I don't drive myself nuts. Yeah, that other filter was, we were there. You just keep noticing stuff on used machines. So this thing, muffler guard, is kind of sticking out. And I was just looking why. It's because it's bent. The exhaust, that's the exhaust. It's supposed to be coming out of that, but the flap is stuck up against the muffler. How silly. That's the angle we're looking for. And now we can see our exhaust outlet inside the hole facing out this way. We have clearance from the bottom so it won't rattle. And the bottom of that thing is just about flat. Hey, that'll work better. All right, I want to do an oil change. This one's got a reasonably good drain there, but because I have my thing out from another project already, oil extractor, I'm just going to extract it through the dipstick tube. Is that going all the way down? Yeah, it really is. Whoops, broke my machine. We got ourselves a brand new filter. And we got a dipstick, nice and full of good, clean oil. All right, let's give it a final assessment. We got 4 tires that hold air. We got a new belt for the blade. We got new blades. We got an oil change. We got a new filter. We got a new fuel shutoff. We got a wiring harness fixed, replaced, wiring repaired. That kite adjuster works as it should. Forward and reverse cup holder. What? We got our new guard on there. We have all that flywheel stuff fixed. Battery does charge. I tested it. And let's just see what it can do. Not a cold start. Right on. It's got that interlock button you got to hit or else you kill your engine. It's really hard to hold that button, film, and run the tractor at the same time. Anyway, we got a runner here, folks. We started with a pile of MTD. And we ended up with the full working tractor, 46-inch deck, 21 horse, dual cylinder, Briggs and Stratton. My favorite. I hereby declare that tractor in its entirety Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.